Welcome to my humble abode, darlings. Come in out of the rain and get comfortable. I have a story to tell you, and I hope you enjoy. If you do, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hikers of the Pocket Jungle by Scare in a Box. I refilled my coffee cup from the office's new state-of-the-art coffee maker and headed back to my workplace. It's the middle of my shift, and therefore it's time for a caffeine recharge. I sit in front of the monitor and look at the data it presents to me. Everything is in order. The tubes move perfectly, and various systems they have work correctly. The forest through which they move is normal conditions. I push one of the buttons, and the data slides aside, showing me the forest outside the building, which everyone in my sector monitors all day, every day. The forest, to the naked eye, is normal. It seems a simple recreation of the natural and pristine places of yesteryear, when technology hadn't invaded everything and nature hadn't decayed. It's a simple imitation, of course. This place is not natural, not really. The trees have been planted in a special way. The environment is meticulously controlled. The species that inhabit it have been specially selected to be there and gave the best experience to each client with enough money to buy a ride. The sensory woods is not a normal ride, though. Many companies offer walk through the artificial forests, some of them by boat and some even with a flight mechanism. We don't do any of that. We go further. The forest is specially designed to be the perfect sensory experience. The trees and each of the places are pierced by special tubes through which the brains of our clients are transported. Yes, the brains. Clients pay a fortune to have their brains removed from their bodies and placed in the sensory tubes, where they are connected to artificial sensory organs, eyes, and noses especially created to provide the best experience of their lives. Or so they say. Personally, I've never tried it. I find the idea of my brain being transported through the tubes a bit creepy. The point is that the artificial eyes give customers a privileged view of the species that inhabit the forest, the entire spectrum of colors that human eyes are capable of seeing, and some say even more than what we can see. The nose is completely the experience, causing customers to be surrounded by the most inexplicable fragrances in the universe, everything you can imagine in one place. While the brains take the ride, the clients' bodies are kept in life support chambers, specially designed to keep them alive. As soon as the trip is over, the brains return to their bodies without any side effects, just with their memories of what happened in the forest. The result is the best sensory experience in the world. And my job is to monitor the tubes through which the brains move. They are specially prepared to keep them alive and safe. They have the right nutrients plus the right temperature, acidity, and radiation. Nothing is left to chance, and all data is displayed on my monitor. It's a simple job if I don't think about the true implications of it. I'm helping people take their brains off and move them to and through places they shouldn't move them. But it's simple because nothing ever happens. Everything is so perfectly calibrated that I have never seen even a slight deviation from the normal, and they pay me well. I can't ask for much more. I take a long sip of coffee. It's at the perfect temperature. The new coffee maker is so automatic that it doesn't even need time to heat the water. I have no idea how it works, but it's the best coffee I've ever tasted. I guess the company wants even its employees to have a good sensory experience. Oh, I yawn a little. I look at the clock. There's about 3 hours until my shift ends. I look at the tube data again, and everything is fine. So I settle back into my chair and enjoy my coffee. A sound like an explosion makes me jump out of my seat. I inadvertently knock over my coffee cup and the liquid ends up spilling all over the floor. My ears start to ring, and I put my hands over my ears to cover them, but the sound continues. I look everywhere. My companions are as bewildered as I am. I watch the monitors. My heart begins to race. The graphics indicate that the tubes have stopped transporting. Something has gone wrong. Very wrong. "Systems down!" someone yells. I look everywhere, searching for a more precise explanation. "Life support systems are down," says one of my colleagues. Her voice sounds shaky. "What do you mean?" I ask. "Deactivate," she repeats. "They stopped working. They turned off." She looks at me. There's panic in her eyes. I don't blame her. Without the maintenance system, the bodies of the people who are traveling will begin to decay, to rot, to die. "How are the tubes?" asked my department manager. He's just as scared as everyone else. "They've stopped moving," I replied, "but the brains should be intact. They're not damaged, just detained." I hasten to add, "Should?" he asked me. Obviously, my attempt to calm him down hasn't worked. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. The monitors don't tell me the status of the tubes. Not these, at least. I'd have to review other data to find out. I can't tell the structural state of the tubes from here. I can go check the other monitors. I can't keep talking. An explosion. This time I know it's an explosion because I can feel the shockwave and see the fire whips through the facility. The room shakes, and we all fall to the floor. What we felt before must have been another explosion, but smaller. I hid under the table, my hands over my ears. The shaking stops, but there's a smell of burning. My ears are ringing even louder than before, and when I open my eyes, I can see that the room has been filled with some pretty thick white smoke. I crawl from under the table and stand up, with some difficulty, helping myself from the chair that is now lying on the floor. I look everywhere. My colleagues are also recovering. All the monitors are off, and the only thing that can be seen are the emergency lights. If the life support systems were compromised before, now they must be... I don't even want to think. How? Shattered? Disabled? What'll happen to the bodies? My co-workers are covered in dust, and I guess that's my condition too. They seem just as surprised and disoriented as I am. I don't understand what's going on, and we won't be able to find out from here. All systems are down. "No power!" someone yells. I see my boss run out of the room. The rest of us look at each other, and without saying anything, decide to follow him. It's useless to stay here, after all. The corridors are in a terrifying gloom. I'd never seen him this way, not even on night shift. The power to the whole place must have been turned off. With only the emergency lights as guide, we head toward the sector where the bodies of the customers are kept. The only thing that is visible is a small green light on the ceiling. The rest of the room is dark, and the tanks where the bodies are kept are not visible. We also can't see the operator who should be working there. The boss is glued to the window, with the greenish reflection illuminating his features. He seems terrified. "They're going to die," he mutters. "Everything is destroyed." "Isn't there something we can do?" I ask. He looks at me. Everything is quiet now. The ringing in my ears is over. So much silence is terrifying. "Pray that the brains are safe," he tells me. I bite my lower lip. We can't tell what state the brains are in from here. I look everywhere. My colleagues look at each other. They look at me, at the boss, at the room with the bodies. It seems there's only one possible solution. "We have to go outside and check on the tubes," I say. The boss looks at me for a moment, then sighs. "Yeah, it's the only alternative." "What good will it do?" asks one of my colleagues. "If they're okay, we don't know how long they will last. If they're dead, there's nothing to fix it." "I'm sure someone's already on the way," says the boss. "Someone must have reported the explosions, I'm sure." He pauses. He actually doesn't seem sure at all. "We're not the only ones who work here. Maintenance should already be working on a fix. Our job is to control the tubes, keep the brain safe. Let's do our job." We all ended up nodding our heads and following him. We continue along the corridor to the transition zone between the premise and the forest. The room itself is just as dark as the rest of the building, but we managed to find the necessary protective suits to enter the forest. As soon as I put on the suit, a small screen activates on my left arm. It informs me of my vital signs and the general conditions of the environment. We go outside, and the panorama seems even worse than inside the building. Nothing can be seen. The smoke is so thick that I can barely distinguish my own body. I know my coworkers are by my side because I hear their footsteps. The footsteps against the undergrowth, crushing the leaves and breaking the small pieces of bark that have begun to fall. Flashlights can't get through the thick smoke, so they're of little help. I look at the little screen I have on my suit, which shows me where we are. The tubes are supposed to be a few meters away. They have to be here, but we can't see them. I cannot see anything. The screen on my wrist tells me that my heart rate is racing. Of course it is, you silly machine. The situation is hopeless. The whole facility is in danger. The people in here are about to die. And me? Losing my job will be the least of my problems if those brains die. I stop short. That thought paralyzes me. But what paralyzes me the most is the fact that the texture of the soil has changed. I just stepped on something. Something soft, delicate. Something that shouldn't be on the ground. I look down. I shine the flashlight right at my feet, and there it is. My worst nightmares. How many years in prison will I get for murdering someone by stepping on their brain? So quoth this raven. Well, what did you think of that one, darlings? They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. My apologies for my voice. I have been fighting a cold all weekend, so I sound awful. But if you've got this far, you listen to it. Oh, I'm going to ignore that because that's happened like 10 times during this recording. And I hope you all have a beautiful, lovely day, darlings. Thank you for stopping by, my darlings. It means so much. I so enjoy telling these stories for you. And here are some of my marvelous supporters. Please, if you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. If you give this video a like, it would help me out ever so much. Thank you, and have a lovely, lovely day.